evening, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show with me, Dave Juskow, and Mike Suarez. We are here on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here in New York City time. And actually, it's only 5 o'clock where Mike is, I believe, in Texas, where the stars at night are big and bright. If you've ever seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Anyway, folks, great to see you. It's the Comedy Cellar Show. We changed the name again because there's no sports going on, and we'll change it to March Madness when it becomes March again, I guess, because we could just keep changing the show. But the important thing is that, it's brought to you by the people that run the Comedy Cellar, because the Comedy Cellar is the best comedy club around. So if you are in the West Village in New York City, or if you're in New York City at all, I had some friends of friends come in town. And this is what happens all the time. They're like, hey, my daughters will want to see a comedy show. Where should they go? And I get angry when they ask that. I don't know how many times I got to tell you people. There's only one place to go. It's the Comedy Cellar. It's the best club in the city. It's the only place you want to go. Stop asking me questions that are stupid. And call me in advance if you want me to, try and help you, get in, because it's sold out all the time. Sometimes I can help. Mostly I can't because they kind of hate me there. But no, it's going to get better when things go back to normal. Anyway, but their shows are every day, 4 clubs. There's plenty of shows to see every day of the week. They start at 6 p.m. and go till 2 in the morning. I promise you'll be able to see a nice quality show. Also, of course, the Vegas Room with Mark Coco Cohen. Well, welcome to 2. It's a very numerological day, 2/22/2022, which is my sister's phone number. Which is amazing. She said she was tweeting it today. Like, here's my phone number, because her number is 2222022. And I said, what are you, crazy? Because she's like, yeah, I'm going to get rid of it. It's the landline anyway. So I remember, right, happy Tuesday. Right. So to do it on a Tuesday, on 2/22/2022. Very exciting. One would think I haven't seen a day like this since 11/11/11. And before that, I remember my girlfriend at the time was living with me in 8/8/88. She was very excited about buying a lottery ticket. And when she got there to buy the lottery ticket on 8/7/88, they were all sold out. The guy's like, what are you, out of your mind? Everybody's buying that number today. So nothing has changed. And when I thought that was going to be a great day for me, 8/8/88, it was right on my birthday, which is 8/13/88. Everything was exactly the opposite. So I don't expect anything good for today. Baruch, we will be making the Oscar picks, I think in 3, maybe just the Tuesday before the Oscars. We're at the end of the March. So we'll definitely be doing that, I guess. I mean, no, we're definitely doing it. I love making the Oscar picks. I'm just mad at the Oscars because, movies aren't the same anymore. So it's like, you don't know anything that's out. I mean, it's much better than last year, but we'll go through it and see what happens. Yes, it's why would it be National Margarita Day today? Why wouldn't National Margarita Day be Cinco de Mayo, which makes the most sense of anything? Well, I guess they're trying to give you 2 ways to have a margarita. I wonder who sponsors these national days, who makes them. And I wonder if it's that easy, because there's about 5 or 10 things each day that are national. You can look them up. Like, it's National Margarita Day, it's National Chocolate Day. I don't know why I'm not making a National Dave Juskow Day. I mean, that's so obvious that I wonder how difficult that would be. My guess is you probably just have to register, and it probably doesn't even cost anything. But to have it on the calendar would be the most important thing. And obviously, it should probably just be August 13th, my birthday. National David Juskow Day. Yeah, I got to do that. Anywho, they just came in. The figures came in today for the Super Bowl. $472 million spent on Super Bowl Sunday through New York. Only $143 million through New Jersey, which again shows what a dick Andrew Cuomo was way before we all found out what a complete. Anonymous, you're the best, because it's Dave Juskow Day is every day. You know what? That is completely correct. There doesn't need to be a National Dave Juskow. You're so right. And especially Tuesdays. Tuesdays are a big day. Get Juskow in the City comes out on Tuesdays. New Billy Joel A to Z. And then the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show. I mean, forget it. Look, I'm doing my head winning. I'm doing it for Marcy. That's what I did today. From about September to March. That's my Ed Wynn invitation from Mary Poppins. Oh, well, I hate to think about it because you got to think of something sad. I went to get some long underwear today, and the shop maker said, "How long would you like it?" And I said, "From about September to March." Whoa! Thank you. Nobody gets that invitation. Anywho, do you know that New York State gets 51% of that 472 million? 51%. I don't know how they made that deal.
Wow.
I know, it's amazing. Right, the Razzie Awards, it's the it. Oh yeah, Space Jam 2. Wow, that movie did suck. So what I used to do when I had my Oscar pool, I would always have it, is I would make the Razzie Awards the tiebreaker. And the Razzie Awards are the Saturday before the Oscars. So I made that tiebreaker. But we should do that too. We should do the Razzies and the Oscars because, we love just picking stuff, right? It's so much fun. And we're going to be doing that today when I bring out my guest, Mike Sauter. And we're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which, I hate. So lots to talk about later. Right now, let's just continue. Beautiful. I hate the Los Angeles Rams. I mostly hate everything Los Angeles. And the beauty is no one came to the parade for the Super Bowl win. No one showed up. As I told you, no one cares about the Los Angeles Rams. Nobody in Los Angeles. In fact, they were rioting somewhere in Los Angeles. I'm like, yeah, they are so, jacked that the Los Angeles Rams won the Super Bowl. No one cares. You can't be that into a team that only got there 2 years ago. It's ridiculous. But in LA, no one cares anyway. They might like the Lakers, and that's where it ends. I don't think they care about anything else. Otherwise, how can you explain how a sports franchise wasn't there for 20 years? Because no one was saying, we've got to get a football team. No one was saying that. So no one showed up at the parade because no one cares. Can you imagine? Nobody's showing up at the parade in Los Angeles where the weather is perfect. Can you imagine the complete opposite that would have been in Cincinnati had the Bengals won it all? That parade would have been unbelievable. It would have been cold. It would have been snowy. And then you would have seen dedication to a football team. It's ridiculous. It just pisses me off for some reason. Anyway, the big news, yeah, it's sad. No, it's not that sad. No one cares. And that team's stupid. And you're rooting for a guy that just came from Detroit. He wasn't even a Rams guy either. The Lions fans were rooting for him. The whole thing is a joke. They just hired a bunch of people and said, we'd like to win a Super Bowl this year. So there's no real Rams except that guy, the defensive guy, but that's about it. Anywho, so there was this Finnish cross-country skier, from Finland. I don't know if you heard about this. He was in the Olympics. He was doing a cross-country ski. He didn't medal because the high winds in Beijing that day apparently caused, have you heard about this? His penis to freeze.
Wow.
Yeah, his penis froze, and that caused performance anxiety, which is hilarious on so many levels. I don't even know where to begin. So the guy from Finland couldn't finish because of performance anxiety in his frozen penis. He couldn't finish. The guy who's Finnish couldn't finish because of performance anxiety. It's like 2 again. Yeah, that always happens. Exactly, Anonymous. Yeah, I mean, no, here's the thing about this. All right, you can understand your penis freezing in a way. I mean, you can, but let's just say, it's cold out there. That's the last thing I would think would freeze. But apparently this had happened to the guy before. So if this has happened before and you didn't prepare for the Olympics this time, that's on you. You're a dumb jackass. And somebody like that shouldn't even be in the Olympics because you're stupid. If that's happened before, first of all, if my penis ever froze or I was out, I would never be in cold weather ever again. I would move to Florida or California or Chile. I'm telling you, that would be the end all for, I'm like, cold weather's not for me. I mean, that is just stupid. Seriously, if it happens twice, you're a moron. I don't know why this is bothering me. It just is. Yeah. Finland. Finnish. Okay, so let's take a look. I don't know if you heard about Courtney Cox today. She is talking about that she finally is admitting she had plastic surgery. There's nothing to admit, or admitting that she's doing a transition. Mike, show that picture, number one. This is Courtney. What the hell is that? Oh, there she is. What was that?
No, the raccoon without hair.
Oh. All right, I mean, there's getting older and, looking, and she's, but that's plastic surgery. And of course, she's, the problem is she's transitioning from what she used to look like, which was when she was a young boy in picture number 2. See? She used to be a boy. I don't know if you remember. And then she transitioned into a girl, and I think that's what she's talking about.
That's the Dancing in the Dark video?
Yes, it is. But I thought it would be funny that she was transitioning instead of just plastic surgery. But I don't know whether anybody. Anyway, we'll move on to what's that picture. Also today, I don't know if you heard about this. This big news. I can't stand Molly Ringwald. Well,
our guest is
what?
Our guest is here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, just hold on for a second. I don't like Molly Ringwald because, I mean, I guess I enjoyed her movies and she was good for what it was, but she's an awful, awful actress. She's in stuff now. She's in Riverdale. I had to stop watching because she's like really bad. I'm sure she's a nice person, but she's a very, very bad actress. But she was good, for what she was doing, and Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles and that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, today she had the funniest tweet. I guess her birthday is today or yesterday. And put up that thing. Yeah. Her mom forgot her birthday, which is classic. And she's used the line, "You don't have anything else to say to me today?" And she's like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was the 18th today." Oh, her birthday's on the 18th. So what could be more classic than Molly Ringwald's mom forgetting her birthday? That is kind of awesome. I do enjoy that. But she is a very, very bad actress and kind of ruins everything she's in. And I've tried. I've really tried. So I remember her being on a show. What was it? It was a sitcom. Was it Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, or some sitcom? I mean, I tried to watch because she was Molly Ringwald. I mean, I've been watching her since she was in The Facts of Life. But she's not good. Anyway, also in the paper this week was picture number 4, the beautiful, stunning Zendaya at the Rangers game. This pissed me off for so many reasons. First of all, she's there with Spider-Man, which I guess is her boyfriend, right? But I thought this was a picture in first viewing because she's wearing a mask. I thought it was Sarah Palin. If you look at picture 5, see? Because I knew she was dating Ron Duguay, and I'm like, oh, look at her. She's all in on the Rangers. Go back to the Zendaya picture. If you can go back to picture. Yeah. I'm like, oh, look now. But I thought it was Sarah Palin because she looks like she's older there. She's probably 40 years younger than Sarah Palin, maybe more. But meanwhile, who's at the Rangers game? Only children now? There's like nobody my age? How do those people get all those seats? What are they doing? I hate the Rangers. So this just pisses me off that these celebrities come in. Now go to picture 6. Now Margot Robbie's a huge Rangers fan. What is she? She's so into it. This is so stupid. She's so into it, but we let it go because, as you see in the next picture, wow, is she hot? I mean, that's just so sexy. She's not paying attention to that game anymore. How did she become a diehard Rangers fan? This is how pathetic this is. Yeah, Tom Holland, Catalina, looked pretty good there. But look how beautiful she. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? This is, I'd be like, honey, none of the Rangers game. Everybody's watching. But it's just so ridiculous. How does somebody from Australia become a huge Rangers fan? And here's the actor involved. Go to the next picture, Mike. Oh, they lost. She's so upset. She's inconsolable. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? This has got to be an act because she knows she's on camera. She's this upset that the Rangers lost. Somebody from Australia who's an actress who doesn't even live in New York. She's this upset. This drives me crazy because, as you can see in the next picture, who's the bigger Devils fan than Dave Juskow? Yeah, the Devils. We're the Devils. And I'll tell you where my allegiance lies. Look at the next picture. We're the Devils. With the original. We're the Devils. Putty. It's me and Putty and David Horowitz. Who's David Horowitz? Yeah, he's a guy. He's a guy. And look, and then what's the next picture? Who's representing? Yeah, Dave Juskow representing the Devils in a TV show. Let's see Margot Robbie do that. That's my Devils jacket I'm wearing right there in a TV show, representing. What's up? Thank you, Mike. Yeah. No. It's Putty, Catalina. How do you know? You know Seinfeld? Orange Kryptonite makes you a Rangers fan. That's a great callback. Oh, yes. Her best performance to date, Margot Robbie. I love Margot Robbie. I will watch anything that's the only reason I watch Suicide Squad, because she's great. She's a really good actress. The exact opposite of Molly Ringwald. Pretty and a really good actress. She's really interesting. I like her because she's pretty and talented. But I hate that she is a diehard Rangers fan. It's so easy to become a Rangers fan. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of LA Kings fans in LA. It's very difficult being a New Jersey Devils fan. There's only one other, and that's David Putty. In fact, it was all the Davids. David Putty, David Juskow, and David Horowitz were there. So, Catalina started watching Seinfeld thanks to me and Alon, right? Because we talk about it on the Billy Joel podcast all the time. That's true. That is.
Your review of Molly Ringwald is pretty and stinks.
Pretty and stinks. That sounds like a Gene Shalit review from the 70s on the Today Show. That's good. I love it. Or it sounds like a Simpsons. Calling Pretty and Stinks. Meanwhile, I love those movies. I don't know why, but I remember him from the Emperor cartoon and the Rules of Engagement. Right. I don't know about the Emperor cartoon. I know he was in Rules. How do you remember? You got Rules of Engagement in Chile?
Emperor's New Groove.
What is it?
Emperor's New Groove. It's the one where David Spade plays a llama.
David Spade, they worked together again in a different movie too?
They were Disney animated movie.
Isn't that interesting, though? Because they worked together on Rules of Engagement.
There you go.
Scruffy Bones says Seinfeld or Curb. That's a good question. They're both different. I love Seinfeld for what it is, and then I like Curb for taking it a step further, for the stuff they can't do on Seinfeld. I definitely like them both. I see this piece of hairs. Although it's bothering me. All right, let's move on. I want to bring in my guest today, and I brought him in because what we're going to do is go over the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and make some picks. But I brought in my guest. His name is Mike Sauter. He is the station manager for WYEP in Pittsburgh, 91.3. Although he might be now the vice president of broadcasting, I'm not sure. He might have gotten a promotion, that's a hell of a title. Vice president of all of broadcasting. But he is also the host of the Slacker Rewind, which is on Fridays from 10 to midnight, where he's just his old school DJing, where he plays old school alt rock music, from the 90s. But the thing about Mike Sauter, and I've known him for many years, is he was one of the pioneers of this legendary radio station out in Jersey called WHTG, which I was at multiple times. 106.3, it was Asbury Park, New Jersey. And he was the morning DJ there, spinning some of the most influential alt-rock music of our time. He was working with the great Matt Pinfield. And so let's bring him in. This is my friend Mike Sauter, everybody. Hello, Mike.
Hi. How's it going, Dave?
It's going great. You sound amazing. As I've always said, your microphone is brilliant.
Well, thank you.
Mike, I was just telling everybody you were listening. I mean, yeah, your pioneering of what you did in 90s music is unbelievable. And you were the morning guy in this legendary radio station that started a lot of bands.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great time. It was kind of with the grunge coming in the early 90s and all the great alternative rock throughout that decade. But being the morning guy, I kind of missed out on a lot of it because I couldn't go out late to concerts. So it's like, when there was like that a tour with Nirvana that I get free tickets for, and I'm like, yeah, I'll catch them next time. Well, Turned out there was no next time on that count, because if I'm getting up super early in the morning, it's hard to stay out late at night as well. And also, like, none of the musicians wanted to come in early. Right. I had to twist the arm of the record label to get the lead singer of the band King Missile to get up from New York City to come down to be a guest on my show. Although actually I did do a couple of phone interviews with guys from England. That was always fun because it was 5 hours ahead. So.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, listen, it was so funny. I used to go to the radio station all the time. Sometimes Mike would have me on the show. And it was the funniest thing. This is like this groundbreaking radio station. I mean, you can look it up online and stuff. And there's not enough about how groundbreaking it was. But the radio station itself was a trailer. And it's just so funny that they did all this great stuff out of this tiny trailer in New Jersey right off the Parkway.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, what's really funny is it was not planned this way whatsoever. Complete coincidence, but it was 106.3 on the dial, and it was actually right by marker 106.3 on the Parkway.
Oh, right. No.
No, yeah,
that
actually,
marker was 105.
Well, no, it was actually 105, but 106.3. The mile marker was really right by the radio station.
Okay, right. Oh, wow, that's so interesting, and it wasn't planned that way.
Complete coincidence.
Oh, that is interesting.
It's impossible to get two bureaucracies working together like that, like the highway people and the FCC.
So wait, did you get? Are you now the vice president of broadcasting, or are you still the station manager for WYEP Pittsburgh?
No, I'm the vice president of broadcast. I oversee WYEP, but also we have an NPR news station, WESA, as well.
So Mike, every Friday night, and I need to remember because I'm always home on Fridays from 10 to midnight. You spin old-fashioned discs like old school, and you go back into the treasure trove of what was in the 90s and what you were spinning back in the day, right? It's super fun.
Well, if by discs you mean CDs, because the vinyls are the cool disc.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but well, anyway, I mean, a lot of it's on a hard drive at this point, but
you can hear all this stuff. It's streaming, so anybody, even in Chile, can know, because we have our friend Catalina who says hello to you.
Hello.
She will become one of your biggest fans, and on Friday, well, that'll be late for her. It's a little time difference there, but on Friday she will listen to your show. She likes old school music the way we do, and she likes people.
Actually, the show right before right before me at 8 to 10, we have a show called We Got the Beat where it's all 80s tunes. So,
well, that sounds like a perfect Friday night for, unfortunately, for Dave This guy. I wish it was different, but it's not.
A lot of great retro fun.
So let's get into this. All right, now we're going to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now you know my position. You were just going to tell me. You know my position, which is I can't stand. I love. Whitney Houston is the greatest and belongs in a Hall of Fame, but I say not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Your opinion is different, though.
Well, if you look at rock and roll in its early years, I mean, not necessarily going back to all the way back to the 50s with Buddy Holly and Rock Around the Clock and all that. But if you look in the late 60s when rock and roll turned to rock music, it was pretty expansive in the definition of what rock music was. And I did a project just a couple of years ago where I was researching some old concerts in the 70s, and it's amazing. I mean, Earth, Wind and Fire was described in concert reviews as a rock band. Yeah. I mean, if you think
I love Earth, Wind and Fire, that's interesting because I would say they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But you have a lot of people who are. I mean, James Taylor was a rock star. Right. Rock music was very broad in its definition. You'd have anything from Led Zeppelin to like the Mahavishnu Orchestra or whatever. They were considered. It was into the broad category of rock music. So I like having it. And I used to see it more your way. There's a guy who used to Ira Robbins who put out these record guides back when that was a thing. The Trouser Press Guide to Music, and he included in one of the editions of one of his books Madonna, and it was supposed to be alternative rock. And I said, I met him one time, and I said, why'd you include artists like Madonna? She's not alternative rock or alternative music. And he said, you know what? I mean, it all comes from somewhere, and you got to kind of look at it with a broad lens. Otherwise, you're missing a whole reason for why some of these bands exist.
All right. Well, then with that, I'm going to share my screen. And maybe I will change some of my mind of what we're going to do. Mike, I am sharing. But Mike Sauter, our producer, is also named Mike.
Okay.
As you can see, I have Mike V and Mike S. You can see my screen, right?
Yep.
And the audience can too. So, yeah, let's start it out, and let's see what we're going to decide today is who. These are all the nominees for this year. There's 17, and they can only pick 5 or 6. Is it definitely 5 or 6, or is it definitely 6, or is it sometimes less or more?
I forget the exact number, but
I think they picked 6.
Around that.
So we might have more than 6. Next week we'll come back and we'll see who we need to drop. But for now, we're going to say who we think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame voters will elect to be in this time. The first one is Beck. This is his first eligible time of being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm going to say I have no problems with him, and I think that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will vote him in. Mike, my producer, will go next.
I think in as well.
You think in as well? Mike Sauter, your theory.
All right. Just to be clear, are we predicting who they're going to select?
We are predicting.
Or do we think they deserve to be in?
No, we're predicting. I thought I was going to make 2 categories, and I'm like, that's too much. We're predicting. But I would also like to know if you think they deserve to be in. I'm assuming somebody like Beck deserves to be in, but you might have another theory, it looks like.
No, I totally believe Beck deserves to be in without a doubt. I don't know as though he's going to go in this time.
Oh, I like it.
So I'll go without.
Okay, great. Oh, this is good stuff. And I see Mike V, the audience says in, right? Mostly?
Yes.
And with the Just Go seal of approval, if he does get in, the answer is, I'm okay with that. That's the way this segment's going to work, Mike.
Okay.
Pat Benatar. Well, let me tell you something right now. I know she was trying to get in last year. I am all in. They better vote her in. I'm hoping. That's more of a hoping. I don't know whether it's going to happen, but she's awesome. If they didn't vote the Go-Go's in last year, I was going to have a shit fit because I don't understand how you can't, with that, if you're 2021 and you're not voting an all-female group in, you're a moron. But maybe, sorry, I went too quick. Maybe because they voted her in, they voted them in last year. I don't know, but I'm going to say in Mike V. I'm saying Mike V because his also name is actually Mike S. It's Mike Suarez, so I'd use his middle initial.
You got to use the last word of my social. I think in for sure.
You think in for sure? Mike Sauter?
This is a tough one, but I'll go with you guys. I'll say in.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. That's funny. Anonymous said she belongs. Nice. Yes. There it is. That's the way to do it. We're going to say in. And she, of course, gets the "this is no joke. She better get in" seal of approval. As you can see, my face is saying, come on. This is no laughing matter. Is that funny? No? Okay. All right. Kate Bush. This is somebody who was discovered by Mike Sauter. That's in my mind. I had never heard of Kate Bush. And Mike Sauter used to program our college radio station. He's a genius, and he knows about this. I say she's absolutely out. Doesn't have a shot in hell. Mike Suarez.
I like Kate Bush, but I just don't think they're going to vote her in.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Mike Sauter, your thoughts?
I will say I can't take credit for discovering her. She actually got a lot of help early in her start by David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, and I see a Pink Floyd poster behind you, so it all ties in. But I agree with you. I don't think that she will make it, although she certainly is influential and important.
All right. And Baruch says in, Catalina says out. Mike, is that it, or I can't see below?
Looks like it's 50-50, yeah.
50-50. I'll go with Catalina.
It's in, so yeah, in.
Oh, we're saying in.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. And the Just Go seal of approval says, I don't know about this. I mean, I feel she should be in, but I don't know. I mean, I feel she should be in, but I think she's going to be out. You know, I'm okay with her being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I have no issues with her. I'm wary. Devo. This is their second time they're trying to get in?
Third.
They so deserve to be in. I just don't know whether I'm just gonna say in. I'm gonna say in. Crap. This is a tough one. Wait, I can't decide. Mike Suarez, can you go first?
I mean, just second. How many times have they tried to get in? 3. Oof.
That's what's bothering me.
I mean, I want to say yeah. I'm gonna say yes. Why not?
All right, Mike Sauter, you go first. I mean, you go and then I'll go.
Yeah, it's really tough because looking at some of the bands that they've snubbed in the past that they just haven't put in. I mean, there's a lot of 80s bands in there. I mean, Echo and the Bunnymen, the Replacements, Billy Idol's not in.
When the Bunnymen got into the Hall of Fame?
No, not in.
Okay.
The B-52s aren't in. I mean, there's a lot.
How are they not in? They should be in before Devo.
Yeah, well, I know, and so I think there might be a little bit of 80s bias. I know we said Pat Benatar in. I won't go ahead, but there's coming up. There's a number of other 80s bands. I mean, Devo's got to get in one of these times, and it's their third time, so I'm going to say in.
You're going to say, you know what? I'm going to say out because of everything you said. I think you're right. There are a little prejudice against these type of 80s bands because Bon Jovi got in and Journey and stuff like that. So I think it's these types of the kind of way out 80s, like you're saying, B-52s, Echo and the Bunnymen. I think there is maybe a little prejudice against that. What is the audience saying, Mike Suarez?
They're saying out.
They're saying out, yeah. But I want them to be in so bad. The Just Go seal of approval says, I want them in, and they deserve to be in, is what I'm saying. Duran Duran, they must be in. They must. I need them to be in. They're awesome. And they deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on the first time ballot. Mike Suarez.
In.
Good. Mike,
I'm going to go against the grain here, and I'm going to go against the grain here, and I'll give you a perfect example. You know who, and obviously a different kind of band to a certain extent, but definitely a lot of hits to their credit. But In Excess, they got nominated once, but they're not in. So I'm going to go Duran Duran out.
See, all right. And what does everybody say? Everybody's saying in 1,000 times, Brooke, right? Exactly. Catalini's saying in, but I don't like them. I love them. They're awesome. They were better than In Excess because, nobody did anything stupid. Well, actually they did, didn't they? Didn't nobody committed suicide. They just died, right? Which one died?
Simon Le Bon once flipped his sailboat, nearly died.
Oh, that's right. So they did do stuff stupid. Well, I love Duran Duran. They're awesome. If you see the documentary about them, you realize how brilliant Simon Le Bon is. Apparently, he just had all the songs in a book, all the ones we know. And this one is, seriously, this is no joke. They need to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I love Duran Duran. And they're still making music, and they still make good songs. Their stretch of their career from a band that should have had one album and out should say something to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Ugh. Get so upset about this, which of course is ridiculous. How does it affect me? It doesn't. Eminem, this is his first. What it's his first time in and first. What is it? His first time. Oh, his first time he's eligible and his first bid, I guess.
Yeah, first nomination
and first. My guess is they just immediately put him in. I don't know. I mean, he's not rock and roll, but it's Eminem. He's huge. Mike Suarez, what do you think?
I'm going to say out.
Ooh. Mike Sauter, your thoughts, your professional thoughts.
I think they are going to put a rap group in from this group of nominees, but not Eminem.
Ah, interesting. More to come. Catalina says out. Anonymous says in. What else is there? No Doubter in. Mike, can you tally them up for me?
They're saying in.
They're saying in. Yeah, I think so. The Just Go Seal of Approval says, yeah, he should totally be in. We don't know whether he will get in, but he deserves to be, ironically, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even though he's a rapper, doesn't fit. Oh, the Eurythmics. See, this is a tough one. I think they absolutely deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but there's no way that happens. No way. Mike Suarez.
I mean, Annie Lennox is in on her own, isn't she?
Mike Sauter?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And this is the first time they've been nominated?
No, I don't think so. I think they might have been nominated before.
Yep, second time.
I'm going to say out then.
It's funny when I say all this stuff, I'm looking at Mike Sauter's face. So it sounds like he has something interesting to say.
Well, I'm going to go random stab in the dark here. I said Devo out. I think Eurythmics in. And one of the reasons I'll say this is because Annie Lennox, and these things aren't really supposed to influence it, but they did. They were very influential. That whole synth pop sound, the androgynous look, there was a lot of influence going on there. But Annie Lennox with a really great, solid, long solo career. And then David Stewart is somebody who has worked with everybody, Mick Jagger, Tom Petty, so many people. I think he networks, he knows the people who vote on this. A lot of them know him. I think they're going to put them in.
Love it. Love it. I love what you're saying. It looks like everybody on this side is saying in as well.
Well, they're 50-50.
And what did you say, Mike Suarez?
They're 50-50.
Oh, really? Oh, I just saw a bunch of ins, but they get the Just Got seal of approval. They should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point. I just don't know whether, but I love Mike Sauter's what he's saying about how it might work out. Judas Priest, I mean, they are rock and roll. I mean, this is exactly what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was made for. I mean, just look at that photo. I think that's where Spinal Tap got their poster from. I just don't know whether they'll get in, but somebody from rock and roll has to get in. Somebody legitimately rock and roll. But I don't think they're going to make it. I'm going to say out. Mike Suarez?
I'm going to say in.
Mike Sauter?
I think they deserve it. But then again, though, we're talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Ozzy Osbourne is in with Black Sabbath, but not as a solo artist. Iron Maiden isn't in. I don't know if either they're totally down with Judas Priest style of metal. So I'll say that out.
Wow. And what is everybody saying, Mike Suarez?
See, one in, two outs, out.
The Just Got seal of approval, of course, gets that they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at some point. Absolutely. Who the fuck is this guy? Nobody knows. I immediately want to say out just because I want to say out, because who the fuck is this guy? But these are one of those people they put in where you fast forward when you tape it on HBO and go to the next thing. So I'm going to say in, which is really pissing me off that they're going to waste my time with this guy. Mike Suarez?
I'm going to say in as well.
Right? All right, Mike Sauter, give us your thoughts as you're smiling as I say this.
Well, Fela Kuti, huge influential.
You can pronounce it the correct way.
Yeah, it's from Nigeria. When Paul McCartney went to Nigeria to record the Band on the Run album, actually Fela Kuti and his crowd, they actually tried to go up to give McCartney some attitude, saying hey, you're just here to rip off our style of music, like a lot of you Western musicians. Get the hell out of here. And McCartney actually took the time to be like, no, we're recording. It's just a regular rock and roll album. We're not bringing in Nigerian musicians, whatever. I mean, McCartney was down with Fela Kuti and his music and everything. But I think, I don't know. I mean, you're right. It is the kind of critics pick that sometimes gets in, but it's, pretty competitive field. So I'm going to say out.
Ooh, you're going to say out. Right. I say it's a critics pick. What is the, what's the audience saying, Mike?
Let's see. In.
The Just Got seal of approval says, you got to be kidding me. Come on, what is happening here? That's what that is. I don't understand. I don't know why they got to, it's also a TV show and they're trying to get people to watch. This isn't helping anybody. Duran Duran helps people. Thank you. MC5, never heard of them in my life. Out. No brainer. Mike Suarez.
I'm going to say out as well.
What is It's the It saying? Ain't he the dude who married 30 chicks in a day? Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know. See that in the.
I don't know, but if so, that's instant in.
I agree. We all agree on that. Mike Sauter, your thoughts on MC5, whoever the hell they are?
their most well-known songs, Kick Out the Jams, proto-punk Michigan band, very influential.
They have been. Did I tell you about this guy? Isn't he unbelievable?
I think they've been nominated like 5 or 6 times, and at some point they're going to get in, and it's either them or perhaps our next band. But I'm going to go with them in.
Oh, you're going to go in.
This is another critics pick that could make it.
Hey, Catalina just said, see, every time Mike talks, I like him more. I told you that would happen. She loves music talk. She loves the history of music. She's cool, and she lives in Chile. What is the audience saying, Mike Suarez?
Out,
yeah. Just got a seal of approval. Is like, come on, seriously, what is happening? Who the hell are these people? Don't they want people to watch or go to the Hall of Fame? I'm not interested. New York Dolls. I have heard of them. I am confused by them. I had no idea that David Johansen was in that band. I just found out recently. I'm going to say they're in. I say they pull it in. I don't know. Mike Suarez, what do you think?
I'll say out. I mean,
I don't even know any of their songs, but I've heard about them for so many years. They're so inside. That's why I thought Mike Sauter.
You know what? They're kind of the godfathers of glam rock. They kind of invented that whole thing. I think it's going to be either the New York Dolls or the MC5 going in. I don't think they would both go in. So since I said MC5 is in, New York Dolls out.
Catalina says, I have no idea who they are, but I like them because they look cool. They look like a couple of guys that want to stab their mother.
Well, David Johansen was the last original surviving member, apparently.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know idea he was in it. I didn't know. I remember I saw David Johansen when I was like at Letterman one day, and he sang in the dirty old play in the city, and he was David Johansen. I didn't know who he was, and then I found out he was in a band in between New York Dolls or something. I didn't know anything about him. Like I was at the Letterman show in the 80s as a kid in the audience, and they brought him out and he sang, and I didn't know who he was. My friend Evan Cutler, I think, was telling me he was a big deal, and I didn't understand. But what is the audience saying, Mike Suarez?
They're overall saying out, but Catalina has a very vehement in.
Yeah, it's just because she likes their look. Again, I'm saying, yeah, they totally deserve to be in, only because, like, I don't know any of the songs, but like you said, the beginning of glam rock, and they are rock and roll. If you watch any of their music videos, they are what rock and roll is all about. Yeah. It's really interesting. Well, this one just pisses me off. This is the reason I hate. All right. I don't know what to do about this. And you see, I put the Playboy one in because it says a hit interview with country queen Dolly Parton should not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is the same thing as Whitney Houston. Do I dislike Dolly Parton? No, I worship her. She's amazing. Her staying power in this business alone is amazing. The way she can go from music to hit songs, cross the country to regular music, and be in movies, and a good actress. I love everything about her. I love her staying power. But we are calling it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You got to be kidding me. I don't know if they can kick her out. I think they put her in just because of who she is. I'm going to say in, and it's pissing me off. Mike Suarez, what are your thoughts?
I think you're forgetting about the song 9 to 5 and in.
Song 9 to 5 is awesome. Just that beginning part. That is good rock and roll. Mike Sauter?
Hey, you can say what you want about country music, but you know what? You got to have someone like Johnny Cash in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, but he's clearly country. I think there's a lot of crossover between them. Between
Johnny
country.
Cash is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, I'm just saying that, you couldn't deny someone like Johnny Cash being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He's not, you're saying.
I actually don't know. I'd have to look it up just to be sure. I'm just saying that there's a lot of crossover between them. Dolly Parton has been a huge influence on like decades of singer-songwriters, women singer-songwriters, as well as rock and rollers. I think her influence is enough to get her in, and I think she deserves it.
To be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right.
You got to have big about rock and roll. It's a big tent.
I think everybody's saying in the chat room, right?
Yes. It says Johnny Cash was put in the 90s.
In the 90s.
There you go.
Listen, she gets the very angry Just Got seal of approval because she's not rock and roll, but I'll let it go. Because as you can see, there's a beautiful background, but I'm angry. It's exactly about Dolly Parton. Everything about her is great. Everything from all the Johnny Carson jokes, even that kind of stuff. The fact that Johnny Carson was allowed to get away with big breast jokes back then, and so many of them. Every episode of The Tonight Show was about Dolly Parton's boobies. And she was just such a good sport about it and just still survives and is still cool. Whatever. Rage Against the Machine. Now, this is a perfect example of somebody who should be probably in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't really know any of their music. I don't care about any of their music. I don't give a shit. I don't like them at all. But I think they get in. Mike Suarez?
In.
Mike Sauter.
I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to say out. I think this is their fourth time being nominated, and they're a crowd favorite, but I think they're going to be more in the MC5 kind of loud rock kind of. It's going to take them a long time to get in.
Interesting. What is the audience saying, Mike Suarez?
Overall, they're saying
in. And the Just Got seal of approval on this one is just like, yeah, they probably deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but, I don't care for it. See, this is a tough one, too. I love Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie, this is his first-time ballot. He deserves to be in the Music Hall of Fame. I don't know about rock and roll, but what you said earlier about the songs that kind of shaped rock and roll, Mike, in that sense, he absolutely deserves, once you put it that way, he deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he's wonderful. I don't think he makes it this time, though. I don't know why. And also, every black person made a pose like this in the 80s. This is the only pose I think you could do if you were black. Isn't this Michael Jackson's Thriller exact pose? No, nobody.
I don't know what's going on with his finger there. That's just
that's the part I don't know, but maybe it's stuck on you. He's trying to. I don't know. Mike Suarez, your thoughts?
I don't think both him and Whitney are going to go in the same year. So out.
That's good. That's good thinking, Mike Sauter.
Yeah, I think he might make it sometime, but this is his first time being nominated. I don't think he makes the cut.
Okay. I see 2 ins. Are there more than that?
Looks like it's mainly ins. Yeah, it's all ins.
Catalina is saying, are ELO in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That is a good question. If Catalina, you might want to go back to one of my earlier Nightfly episodes where I really ripped ELO a new asshole and Jeff Lynne when I went to see them in concert about 2 years ago. So I was really angry because the guy turned off the air conditioning because it bothers his voice, and I was furious. Furious. I hate Jeff Lynne now, even though I worship him, and I love ELO.
I believe they are in, by the way.
Who is?
I believe ELO is in.
Yeah, they have to be in because the world of music loves Jeff Lynne. So that had to be a no-brainer, right? They probably got in on their first ballot, I would think.
About 5 years ago.
5 years ago. But Lionel Richie gets the Just Got seal of approval and a big yes. Carly Simon, see, she's so fantastic. This is tough because I could see her and Pat Benatar kind of canceling each other out. But Carly Simon would deserve to go in before Pat Benatar. She writes her own stuff. She was completely influential in so many. Oh, man. I'm going to change. I think she goes in. I'm going to go back. I'm going to take Pat Benatar out. I'm going to put Carly Simon in. She's wonderful. Carly Simon's the best, and she's done amazing movie soundtracks, unlike Kenny Loggins, who did too many. She knew when to get out. Mike Suarez?
Well, that's a good question. How many are selected?
6.
Oh. Ooh.
Well, we'll go back next week. We'll have to take some out, but
Gotcha.
now.
I'll say in then.
Yeah. Mike Sauter, what do you think?
Another person who's very influential and deserves it at some point, but I think she's not going to make it this time.
You bite your tongue. Wait, what did Anonymous put? That was hilarious. And she thinks the rock and roll fame's about her. That's funny. Mike says, out. What is everybody saying in the chat room, Mike Suarez?
They're going in.
They're going in. And the just got seal of approval is, this is no joke, people. This woman needs to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's right. This is no laughing matter. I'm just going to say out. I don't care. I thought this was Questlove's band with the Tonight Show. So I have no idea who these people are. And no. You either got to put that Fila guy in or these guys. Mike Suarez, what do you think?
I think in. I would go back and do the opposite. I would take the other guy out. Put in
Mike Sauter, is this who you were talking about before when you were talking about that Fila guy? Or
no, actually, I said Eminem. I don't think it was going to go in, but I think another rap act was going to go in. I think A Tribe Called Quest. They're kind of like the Beck of their day in terms of rap music, in terms of being innovative and bending genres, and they were the forefront of sampling, and they've been hugely influential. So I would say in.
Oh, that's very interesting. And what does everybody say? I see out. I see a lot of outs. Is that true, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. I give the, come on. Are we joking? What is happening? These guys aren't rock and roll. I think this might be the last one. Dionne Warwick. Well, here we are again. It's Whitney Houston all over again. She is too old for anybody to know her hits, but when I was looking her up, boy, did she have much more than I ever imagined. I don't think she wrote anything. I'm just going to say out because she stinks. like Suarez. She was funny on Saturday Night Live last with I think she was on with Miley, and that was pretty good. But other than that, Mike Suarez, what do you think?
Out.
All right, Mike Sauter.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think, not that she's terrible. I think she's great. She was kind of like Burt Bacharach's singer for a long time, and very influential, but I don't think she'll make it in.
Yeah. What's the audience saying? My grandma loves her. Exactly.
We'll
Anybody your grandma loves usually doesn't get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But what do they say, Mike Suarez?
They're saying it out. Didn't she have that phone number where you can get your?
Oh yeah, for a while, right? Wasn't she one of those psychic people?
Yeah, her own hotline. Yeah.
The Just Got Seal of Approval says, "Come on, what the hell is the matter with everybody? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." Right. It's the input. I didn't know elevator music was eligible. There you go. Well, I don't know. She, I guess she had a couple of hits. Whatever. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see Dionne Warwick in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's just unnecessary. She lived her life. She made some money, and she got out of the business. And that last song she had was that AIDS song, right?
I'm sure she's had other songs since, but I couldn't sing.
Is that a cat behind you?
What's that?
Is that a cat?
Oh yeah, actually, my cat Stella joined me.
Catalina, you see, we love cats. Oh, I love that. I miss my cat so much sometimes. They say the heart of rock and roll is in Cleveland. From what I've seen, I believe them. That's what Anonymous said. Yes, Aunt Judy, she's still alive. Dionne Warwick is still alive. She was just on Saturday Night Live like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, was anybody? Nobody was put in there posthumously this year, right? Nobody's nominated posthumously. They were last year, I feel. Oh, Whitney Houston, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
I
else is, alive, right?
posthumous band members.
Fila, that guy Fila is dead.
Oh, right, yeah. Fela Kuti.
Fela Kudita. What? Fela Kuchita?
Confused with his son Femi Kuti, who's also a musician.
We have a couple minutes left. Why don't you just stay with us for a second? I'll just show you a couple of slides before we leave. I'll rush through them. Not that anybody has to be anywhere, but this is what we usually do, Mike, only because they're kind of news slides to just get through them all. This is what I was going to show. I don't think Marcy's here today, but yeah, this was the last play of the Super Bowl. And, now it'll go down in history as like this classic one. Again, also against the Rams. Fascinating. Both just making it. That's why the Rams in the Super Bowl suck. I like the ones where the thing is decided by halftime. This is stupid. It's Canada, but it looks like Russia. And who's going to listen to a guy like that? This is a stupid U.S.-Canadian hockey team and the girls. This is a Russian and a Ukrainian skater that both won silver and bronze. And look, they love each other. Very important photo, Mike. Wouldn't you say?
It'll go down as one of the historic photos of our generation.
This is the new sport they should put in the Olympics. It's extreme horse skiing. That'll probably be in the Olympics next year if they're really trying to get viewers. That is finally Americans leaving Kiev. What are they doing there anyway? I don't understand. And this is one of the Ukrainian fighters, but as you can see, he's firing the wrong way, dummy. Funny every time for me. Oh, this is a protester outside of Nepal, of Kathmandu, and it looks like, she's being arrested, but it looks like they're going to kiss. It's kind of sexy. But Mike Sauter, when you think of Kathmandu, which by the way is disgusting, the protest is because they want to spend money on the infrastructure of Kathmandu, but I think it's useless at this point. If that's what Kathmandu is. I didn't even know Kathmandu was an actual city. Mike Sauter, do you know what I'm about to say? I think you.
Yeah, they're actually the reasons they're having the protest is because they're hoping to get upgraded from the silver bullet band to the gold bullet band.
No, which is great because somebody was just making a Bob Seger comment last week, I think, on the Billy Joel podcast. But no, I thought you would know because the only Kathmandu I know was from that Happy Days episode, where every time Kathmandu would come in, they play chimes because she was mysterious. That's when the merchant seamen come into town with Fonzie's rival Rico, and they also bring Kathmandu. No, I'm the only one.
I don't remember that.
I remember because her name is Kathmandu, and then they play the chimes every time she came in. She was very pretty. Still alive.
I remember Rico.
This is the volcano that's erupting in Italy, which I think just with everything happening, it's like the Ghostbusters pink slime, where something bad is going to happen that's really bad, like the whole planet is coming apart. Like I'm a little nervous, even though it's only Ghostbusters 2 and nobody's thinking about that. But that's me. But one good sign is there was a humpback whale sighting in Antarctica, which is good, which means that this scenario of the whale probe, if it joined, from Star Trek 4, hopefully will never happen. And then you won't have to have the Klingon ship come down and make some trouble. Nobody? Just me, huh? Star Trek 4 stuff? No? The crew of the Enterprise has to... All right. Like I said, I'm going through. And the good news is these are baby camels. I've never seen baby camels before. I've only seen full-grown ones.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be in charge of one for the afternoon, I bet.
And here are some penguins, and they're giving Valentines to each other. These are the animal portion of the show. I don't know why.
Kids and pets, Dave. Kids and pets.
Kids and pets. Here's another one. This is this was a hippo zoo that used to belong to Pablo Escobar, the drug lord from Colombia, and now it's just a little kid hang. And then nothing bad happened here. I don't know. I like it. I think it's funny. And then this is the first black Glinda in Wicked. Her name's Brittany Johnson. This was on Broadway last week. And I don't know, they gave her applause. She's the first black Glinda. I don't know if is that a thing? I don't know. Who cares? I'm good with that. What I'm not good with is with this woman in green face. I think that is what we should be talking about. Obviously, what's her name? Ethelba? Isn't that the Wicked Witch of the West? Her name is Ethelba. It's a great play, by the way, if you ever get to see it. It's really, really good. I saw it with the original cast, Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, but you can see it with these replacements. Oh, and this is for Catalina. This is in Santiago, Chile. It's a temple. I was wondering if it's a beautiful temple. I guess it's an aerial view of their beautiful temple. And the reason why I put it in is because I'm very kind of upset about it, because the only temple I knew was the Marine Park Jewish Community Center in Brooklyn, which doesn't look anything like that beautiful put together temple in Chile. This was in Brooklyn where we used to go to temple. Look what a dump. Who would want to go here? However, the temple I went to when we moved to New Jersey is nice, but the only reason I'm showing that temple is because if you go down the street, you see the temple on the right, and we go further to the left. What is that? It's the medical center across the street from the temple. So I can actually say Temple Emmanuel in Edison across from the medical center. Jessica used to go to Temple Emmanuel in Edison across from the medical center. That's the only reason I put it there. Is that funny?
I like it. I like it.
It is what it is. Oh, and finally, this is the Edge, which is this building you can go to right here in New York City. And I've been to it before. This is an amazing photo, right? When they had that full moon a couple of weeks ago. No, this is like a week ago. And I've been here, if you remember, from a year ago when I was showing the modeling pictures I took from there.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that, Mike? Mike Suarez?
Yep.
Those were my modeling pictures taken during COVID. Me and the two girls at the Edge. They're just the only thing that was missing was the moon. Because when you get drunk in New York City, the best you can do is fall in love. Thank you. I'm here all week. Well, we went through that. Oh, yes, Aunt Judy. Oh, that's right. Aunt Judy used to. Yeah, you never went to that Marine Park Jewish Community Center. Yeah. My mother loved that temple because the one we went to in Edison wasn't as strict, which, of course, the rabbi, ironically, in the Marine Park Jewish Community Center was named Rabbi Norman Strickman. Coincidence? I think not. Thank you. I forgot Aunt Judy was here. Right. She was there, but she never went to temple. She was brilliant. She's like, no, I'll have the food ready when you come back from temple. It was a brilliant way to get out. I tried to pull that myself a couple times, but it did not work. Oh, I'll clean the dinner plates if I don't have to go to. I was thrown out because I saw two rabbi and a cantor kissing. Oh, is that true, Aunt Judy? You saw two rabbi and a cantor. What? As you know, I was banned from the temple my sister went to because at my nephew's bar mitzvah, I did the reading as Charlton Heston, and the rabbi got so angry. And I'm like, what's the big deal of doing a dramatic reading? It wasn't like being disrespectful. Aunt Judy was there. She remembers. And one of the hottest girls from high school, who's grown up now, she whispered to me after I did it, and she goes, I love you. It was so hot. Anyway.
It's because you said damn dirty apes.
I didn't. I contained myself.
I just like Dave that you had to clarify that she's all grown up now.
Well, yeah, it's not the same. It would have been. Yeah, well, we might have been together if that was the case in high school. Anyway, Mike Sauter, thank you so much for coming on today and really schooling us on what's going to happen. We will see, obviously, if you're right. Of course, that's not until April, but we could mull all that over. And your insight is fantastic. You have a new fan, and a lot of the people here who will, be listening to your show Friday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight, online, WYEP Pittsburgh, right? You can catch it anywhere streaming. WYEP.org is the website. You already have your Friday playlist ready to go. What can we hear possibly?
Well, actually, I'm going to have to revamp it because sad news today. If you remember the band, the Screaming Trees, their singer Mark Lanigan just passed away.
Nobody remembers that band, but that weird part is I just saw that on the CNN. I had no idea what they were talking about. I didn't know what they were talking about then. I know what they're talking about now. Because isn't there a band called Neon Trees that had a one hit back a couple years ago?
I believe. I mean, there's a lot of tree bands for sure, and there's also a surprising number of screaming bands too.
Yes, but so now you have to redo because you're going to do a tribute to the Screaming Trees. Well, now no one will be listening. I hope you're happy with yourself, Mike. But no, it's great. It's great to have you on. You're obviously one of my best pals for many years, and your musical knowledge is fantastic. I love having you on and listening to you talk about music. You really are. The fact that you didn't know Johnny Cash wasn't in the Rock and Roll Fest, kind of a blemish, but we can let that go. Also, Mike Sauter is an unbelievable Beatles aficionado. Can anybody see any of your? Would you ever think about doing a Beatles? I mean, I know there's plenty of them, but why aren't you doing a Beatles podcast of some sort, or do you do anything for WYEP?
No, not on a regular basis. I've done presentations for, for an in-person audience about kind of the pick 3 Beatles songs and give you the whole backstory of how they were written and recorded. I've done things like that before, but not for a podcast because it's always problematic with using copyrighted music.
Oh, I understand that. Right. Well, if anybody in the chat room, if you'd want to pick 3 Beatles songs and hear Mike say it, I would love to do it again. We got plenty to discuss. We don't have anything until March Madness comes out, and even then we don't have to do that. We just like talking and bringing you this show. So Mike, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Mike Sauter, everybody.
Great to be here. Thanks.
It's nice to have you. Well, that is Mike Sauter. He is the best. I hope everybody enjoyed his input. I think we had a lot of fun with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's always fun making picks with you guys and Mike. Oh, you would like a Beatles episode. Good. Yeah, right, Penny Lane. I'd like to know that kind of stuff too. I love that he knows that stuff. So yeah, if we're all into it, maybe we'll just bring him back and we'll pick 3 songs. We'll do that. Maybe we'll pick 3 next week. We'll try and solidify something and have him come on and talk about it. We got lots of time and lots of weeks to go through, and we're just going to keep doing it. Right, Mike Suarez?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, that's our show for today. Don't forget, obviously, Just Gow in the City every Tuesday. That's the podcast, which has usually nothing to say. Of course, this week is just my rant on how Duran Duran needs to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Very important to me. Next week, maybe we'll bring in Rick Newman to talk. He used to manage Pat Benatar and make his case for Pat Benatar being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then, of course, Billy Joel A to Z. I think we have the song Nowhere Man that came out today. No, Nowhere Land. No. Am I getting it wrong? No, Nowhere. Oh, my God, I'm an idiot. I'm the worst person to be doing a Billy Joel podcast. I think it's Nowhere Land, which actually, I love that song. And it was the first song Billy Joel did. It was the first song ever done on The Late Show with David Letterman. No Man's Land. That's what it is. I love that song. And so that's an interesting podcast, I think. And then we have a really bad song coming up on Thursday. Other than that, this show every Tuesday. Mike Suarez, what do you have coming up? I know you said you were possibly working with Big J again.
I'll be with Big J and the Houston Improv next month.
The Houston Improv next month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just repeating it because you sound a little muffled, so I want to make sure.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I'll be with Big J Okerson at the Houston Improv next month, and I'll be with Giannis Papas at the end of March at the Laugh Out Loud San Antonio, and with Sean Donnelly at the House of Comedy in Plano in April.
Perhaps, Mike Suarez, I need to move to Texas, where obviously everybody's getting a lot of stage time. I haven't been getting any, so I got to work on that, I think, if I want to do comedy at all. And when I say comedy, I mean comedy, air quotes. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us today. And Mike Suarez, as always, thank you so much for your amazing producing efforts. And we'll see you all next Tuesday at this exact same time, in this exact same place. Good night, everybody.